What up, peeps? It's your girl, Dosh, come back to you from Real Takes. Today I'll be doing a review to the movie titled Escape Room. This is directed by Adam Robitel. Now, if you're not familiar with him, he actually was the director for the movie Insidious: The Last Key, which I saw last year. I thought I was catching myself, I figured we were in 2019. This actually is starring Deborah Ann Wall, Jay Ellis, we have Tyler Labine, we have Nick Dodani, we also have what's his name, Taylor Russell, and also Logan Miller. And this was a really good movie. I really enjoyed this from beginning to end. Now, I will say this, I've never done an escape room. I know these are very well-known things that people do for fun. I have a friend at work who actually has done them. We had talked about it briefly, her doing them, and she just gets really excited. She does it with her her friends and her husband, whichever. I said I would consider doing one, and definitely after seeing this movie, the thought of doing one's nice. I said, of course, not the premise of the way the movie was played out, but it looks like it would be fun, you know, having a group of people, you know, in this one. Of course, it was 6 individuals in this particular movie. Now, for this one, I will say, again, beginning to end, it was really fun. Now, for the characters, when you first meet them, they are just in their everyday lives. Of course, with Deborah Ann Wall, you don't see her part at first. You do see the character's Taylor Russell, which is her name in the movie is Zoe. She is a college student, very shy, kind of keeps to herself, and just, you know, she's very, very intelligent, you know, whichever and all. And I think that's kind of what might, you know, turn some of the other college students off with her and all, because it looks like she does a lot of fun. She's been invited to go away for the Thanksgiving Day holiday, but she doesn't want to do that. She wants to work on some other work. Of course, her professor during one of the classes, you know, engages her to speak up because she knew an answer, but she was too afraid. He told her, of course, during the weekend, do something, you know, something exciting, you know, that you would never ever think you would ever do, whichever. So that's kind of her part. Now for Jay Ellis, he plays a very savvy businessman, whatever, you know, taking deals, whichever. A little arrogant, you know, it's all good, whichever, but just doing his everyday, whichever, you know, he doesn't, you know, ask for a lot, whatever. He knows what he brings to the table, whichever. And I like seeing him in this particular character, Jay Ellis being the character named Jason. Now, I'm familiar with him because he was on a show called Insecure on HBO, whichever, and all that. So I like seeing him in something else, and I love that I'm seeing him in other things besides the TV show, so I can kind of get a little bit more, you know, movie roles from him, see what else he can, you know, showcase, you know, in his talent. So that was his character. Now for Tyler Labine, I'm familiar with him. He's been on quite a few different shows, a lot of different movies. Matter of fact, last night I was watching Super Troopers 2. And then also he was on a show that I loved back in the day called Reaper. He's done many, but those are just some stuff off the cuff, whatever, and all that. I love him because he's very funny. His character's name is Michael, and of course he's just a guy who works kind of dealing in certain things in regards to construction of sorts, whichever. Now for the character by Logan Miller, played named Ben, he's working at some sort of, you know, facility, whatever, where he stocks up stuff, whichever. And you can kind of see these people just going through their day-to-day life. Now the situation happens when all of them receive some sort of little small black box, and from there it kind of shows them kind of trying to figure out how to open up whatever and all that, just getting frustrated, whichever. Jay leaves his job, he leaves it at work, but he comes back later to do some more work, and he decides to play with it. Taylor receives it at her door when her friend who's leaving to go away for the holiday weekend. Then for Ben, he sees it, you know, at his place of business, whichever. And these are the main ones we see who have it, who are trying to figure it out. The other 3 characters you don't see until they show up at the actual building, the facility, to meet up for it. Now with this comes the note, if they play this game and they're the winner, they can win $10,000. So of course they all meet up, and of course from there it shows them all coming into a room. They're told by what looks like it'd be some female behind a glass, you know, room with a glass, you know, window, telling them, you know, to be seated, you know, the person will be with them shortly. Unbeknownst to them, they're now in the escape room, and when Ben decides to go take a smoke, that's when the door locks up and it jimmies, the handle comes off. Of course, they want to blame him for this, but of course, the character played by Nick Dodani, his name is Danny, he's like, I think the game starts, because out of all of them, he's played multiple escape rooms. So he's kind of familiar with the way things are done, the jargon, all the things that kind of go with this. So he kind of lets them know, start looking for clues, whichever. Now, the first game, you know, gets very interesting. And you see how the room gets hot, whichever, and they have to figure out how to, you know, taper this down, how to open up an escape patch area that's somewhere in the room, whichever. And that's kind of where it kind of builds up. Of course, as you see, as each of certain particular games happen throughout this movie, there's certain things, and I'm not going to give it away, where they have certain things placed where certain individuals will see it, and it triggers a memory of an incident. I'll just say that. And from there, and I don't think I'm giving a lot because I think they kind of showed a little bit of that in the trailer. But, you know, for the particular first one, there's one of the characters where you can clearly see where they get triggered by something they're reading, some reading material, and then certain things start happening where it's kind of hard for them to get through the particular first game, whichever, but then they're coaxed on by another. So, of course, we move to another game, whichever, and as things start happening, this is like survival mode for them, and they have to start doing things because now people's lives are being taken. And then it gets down to, of course, it's 6, and then you eventually get down to, it could be only a few left at the end. Like I said, I'm not going to spoil this, whichever, because it's a nice steady build up, you know, for the movie, whichever. But I liked how it was a lot of funny times where the characters, you know, are having to work together. Some of them eventually don't want to work together. Some of them, you know, are not really feeling this and want to be let out, but they're being watched by a camera that's always within one of these particular rooms they're in. We have to figure out how to get out, either with a key, whatever, you name it. And I like the anxiety and the anticipation, the suspense of it all, whichever. Like I said, it was really, really good. You know, somebody was sitting beside me, whichever, and we were kind of really getting into it a little bit. Not trying to talk too much, but there's certain parts we would gasp, whichever. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Saw, but with less gore. You know, you get a couple, you know, shock moments here and there, whichever, but overall, it was fun for what it was. Now, I will say this, the ending, it was kind of, you'd almost think it's far-fetched, but let's just say, you know, things can happen that can parlay, whichever, for how these particular characters who end up, you know, find a way to figure out the game, whichever, and see who's going to win, whichever. I don't want to give anything away, whichever. This truly, I cannot spoil for you guys. You'd have to go see this for yourself. And I feel like, honestly, you guys will enjoy the movie. I really, really enjoyed this. Actually, when it comes out on DVD, I probably will buy it because I will probably watch it again, you know, watch this at home. I really can say I really did enjoy it. I will say Jay Ellis's character was, like I said, arrogant, jerk at times in the movie. The character, Ben, played by Logan Miller, was so... He was very funny at times, whatever, and all that, but you can just tell he wasn't here for it, and you could tell the anxiety from it all was getting to him. That's why he couldn't smoke all the time like he wanted to. The character Taylor, as throughout the movie, she started getting a little bit more backbone in certain instances, whatever, in defending and speaking up for herself, whatever, and all, not acting too shy, whichever, which was nice. You know, Tyler Labine's character Michael, bringing a lot of funny. Love that. I loved the character by Nick Dodani. He did his fun parts too when he was in the movie, whichever. You know, a lot of, you know, extra information about how to deal with certain things within certain escape rooms, whichever. You know, Deborah Ann Wall, who plays Amanda, whichever, she was good. You know, she had little parts where it was certain escape rooms where she would, you know, buckle up and do what she needed to do to help the team. So I liked how they made it definitely a team factor, whichever, as it started to disperse down with numbers. But other than that, it really was a good movie. I can say I really enjoyed it. So you guys definitely check it out when you get a chance. My rating out of a 10, I give it about an 8. Like I said, it was really good. Like I said, the ending, kind of far-fetched, not as believable the way they kind of threw it out there. But let's just say that when you see it, if you guys go see it, and I really would like you guys to see it if you are able to, you'll understand what I mean. So, but with that said, you guys, comment below when you have seen it. Let me know what you all think. And with that said, I will see you guys on the next movie review. You guys take care.